This is Gabriel Camper with his vlog Vanity versus Reality. Thank you everybody for tuning in, for watching the videos, for liking it, for commenting. I appreciate it a lot. But again, I want to just point out again, this week in the news, the news was all over about what happened actually in a small town called Claver in the West Coast. The perpetrator, Daniel Smith, apparently killed a boy of 13 years old, Jeroboam, I hope I'm saying the name correctly, Jeroboam van Wyk. The boy apparently went into his residence and apparently stole mangoes, and Daniel Smith chased after the two boys, Jeroboam van Wyk and his friend, and he ran him over and put him at the back of his vehicle and drove off with him. That happened last week, Wednesday. So, yes, so some interesting details has emerged during his first appearance in court. So let's just look at what has happened when they have discovered the possible remains of the kid. So let's just look at one report says, the remains are believed to be those of Jeroboam, who was reported missing after he went with a friend to pick mangoes in a relatively well-off part of the town on Wednesday. That's now last week. Smith has been charged with murder, kidnapping, assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, and defeating the ends of justice. Smith's lawyer, Santi Himan, said her client had confessed to her. Human also said Smith was introduced to a cult at a very young age when he learned how to dispose of a body. My client is not sick, she goes on to say. My client is not sick, as in mental health problems. He has spiritual problems. He wants to be delivered from the evil spirit. If we look at the next report, and this is now one of the community leaders, residents protested outside court and police used stun grenades and tear gas was used to disperse the crowd of about 200 people. Community leader Billy Klassen said it was suspected Smith might be responsible for other children who have gone missing in the area. He also cautioned residents not to take the law into their own hands. The residents are angry and aggrieved because a very gruesome thing happened. He confessed that this is the fourth one that he killed. This is now Daniel Smith. Klassen further on goes to say that maybe we are sitting with a serial killer. We need to take racism out of it, not to make it a racism issue. Don't plant hatred in the mother's heart. Comfort her so that she doesn't have discomfort anymore. So he comes out and said, listen here, this is not racism for this angry mob and these people. Don't make it a political thing, don't make it a racial thing. This is one of the arguments Smith's lawyer also had, that he is not a racist, that he is actually a Satanist, and that is the reason for really not, or the reason actually, this is the reason for killing the boy. Why are you telling us in advance it's not racism? As if, you know, everybody was just thinking this could be racism. So this at first made me think, like, why would they want to kill this notion of not a racist incident? You know what is weird about this whole thing, claiming that from the lawyer and the alleged suspect in the situation, and even the community leaders just putting racism, just, you know, it's not racism. You know what's wondering, what makes me wonder about the whole thing there is, like, when she said, the lawyer, that there's no evidence of it's you know, it's a racism stuff, I would have suspected some ritual killing. I would have suspected something in order, like he was doing a ritual and there's evidence of a ritualistic some type of thing that he has done so that he can kill the boy. But if you look at the report, there was nothing about it. Mind you, it was not as if this suspect was going out looking for a boy so that he can do some type of ritualistic satanic act. Nothing like it. Actually, what has happened, the boy stole his mangoes, he chased after them, very spontaneous act. He got angry, he drove over the boy, he put him in his vehicle, and then he chopped him up. There's nothing or no evidence about any ritualistic thing about it. So why would the lawyer and actually this person say this is not racism? Why would they be so quick not to say it's racism? Residents described as a suspect as a mysterious man. A resident who asked not to be identified said the suspect had lived in the town for a while before he left, but he had returned. The resident claimed the suspect had been a Satanist, but when he returned to Claver in 2015, he told her he changed his life and he was now longer no Satanist. There are strange things like the writing on front of his house, but we don't want to speculate, said the resident. So is it a Satanist or is it a racist? Is he a Satanist or is he a racist? But when this is this white person, everybody needs to know this is not racist, because it's only racist when it's black people killing farmers or other races killing white people. The horrific murder in which a 13-year-old boy was butchered in Claver was an occult sacrifice and not a racially motivated murder. Why are they so scared that this can be labeled as a racial murder? But the media goes up front and say this can never be a racially motivated incident. It can only be an occult sacrifice. What is happening? Why is everybody afraid? Why is the news putting up front this is a racist, not a racist thing? Why is the lawyer up front saying this is not a racist thing? Why is the suspect putting it up front? I'm not a racist, I'm a Satanist. And let's look at the history of Claver. Marius Welgemuth, the next door neighbor of the suspect, said he witnessed the suspect confronting Howard and Oakes outside his Brewer Street property. There was a fist fight and I saw him, the neighbor, go and fetch a pellet gun. Then he shot Manikis twice and also the person who was with Manikis. He said the suspect and his family were notorious in Claver and were one of the most oldest families in town. Their kind must not be allowed to return, he added. This reporter asked him what he meant by their kind. People say he was a racist. Was he that type of person? Welgemuth replied, yes, he was that type of person. We had incidents here. He even blocked off the public road on occasion to control who's going in and out. They were those types of whites who believe this town belongs to them. He, Oakes, didn't deserve to die like that. He, the neighbor, shot him down like a dog. This is how bad racism is in Claver. This is how hostile it is in Claver. Now, mind you, this is the reason why the media, the suspect, his lawyer, the community up front wants to reassure people this is not a racist thing. With that being said, I also want to make clear that there is some white people also that don't condone racism, that are against racism and actually hate also racism. But also we have to be clear about this. There is some colored people, there is some black people that are also racist, and this is the situation in South Africa. But the point that I'm making is, why is it so important for them not to make it a racism? Because they know the history of the town, because they know the climate in Claver, because they know most likely this could have been a racist act of violence. This could have been purely driven by racism. So what can we take away from this? What can we all take away from this? Number one, please stop allowing media to allow us to think upfront about any situation. As you can see, it's totally biased. It's totally a story being spun. Now, mind you, I'm not saying he is a racist. I'm not saying he is not also a Satanist. But upon his own admission to his neighbor and friend, he was done with Satanism, number one. Number two, I think that there should be sufficient evidence to rule out racism or that this is not a racist. You cannot just say up front, even if he is also claiming that up front. Why would he be so scared that the community would think this is a racist act of violence? I wonder. To say spiritually sick, it means that his set of values actually led him to carry out such type of violence and such type of acts. Is he taking really responsibility for his crime and blaming it all on his cultic beliefs or cultic beliefs? Is this because this is the best thing they could have come up with, or he can come up with? Because the evidence is found on his premises. I'm just saying.